Why do you feel that it's essential that we have JEDI and we're focusing on it in terms of healthcare?
So there's so much evidence to show that, if we want to just talk about race and ethnicity, there's so much to racial concordance, meaning that if you have a physician or healthcare provider that's of a similar background as you, particularly of the same race, you're more likely to have better healthcare outcomes. You're more likely to be open. There's more likely to be an inclusion there, a relationship. We could say the same for language. You could say the same for religion. And so I think it's so critical that we don't, you know, build our healthcare system off of diversity to check off some box, but because it actually benefits our patients. There's actually data to show that our patients do better when there's racial concordance, meaning when they have physicians that look like them, and that comes to gender as well.
Mm.
There's literature to show that um, women surgeons have better overall outcomes than male surgeons when it comes to gender relations. So I think diversity improves healthcare outcomes, and data has shown that over and over and over again in numerous spaces. Um, I will start by saying I'm a person of faith. I have a strong belief in Jesus Christ, and I look to my faith to strengthen me because in many circles, I am alone. I mean, I am the only one that looks like me, and in recognizing that and fighting those battles, I recognize that in the children that I serve. I almost see my little self in them, and so just come to the aid in whatever way I can. I'll give you an example. Stories are powerful. We had this young sickle cell Black female come into our emergency department. She does have a history of mental illness. It still shouldn't matter in that way, but she has a history of mental illness and may in some ways have had previous histories of aggression towards healthcare providers. She comes in and she's in pain crisis. I mean, she's meaning that her blood is kind of getting stuck within the bones, causing severe bone pain. As physicians, we've been noted or told that bone pain is some of the worst pain a human being can experience on various levels of pain, just to give people an idea. Um, and when I walked into the room, and this young lady was probably not even close to you know, 100 pounds or probably less than about 40 kilos or so. She wasn't very heavy, or, seemed to have a lot of strength. And when I walked into the room, she had 4-point restraints on her. And I was told that she was kicking and biting the EMS providers and kicking and biting security guards. But what I saw was a scared little girl. And what was starkly remarkable was that she and I were the only person of color in the room. And and we know the history when it comes to violence and Black folks globally when it comes to police interactions or authority interactions. And when we focus less on de-escalation processes and more on more aggressive processes, and that's what I thought was happening. I thought this girl wasn't given a chance or an opportunity, um and she didn't have an advocate in the room. And so yeah, I went to full mom mode and I told everybody to get out, including the police officers. So get her off of the restraints and leave the room. Before then though, I got down on my knees and I told her she was visibly upset, and raising her voice in the room and at everybody that was around her. And we had this moment where I said, "Just look at me, just look at Dr. O. Um, it's just me and you in the room right now." Okay. I told her, "I'm your advocate. I am here for you." With all the other people in the room, all the 20 people in the room, I said, "It's just me and you." I got down on my knees. I got to her level of the bed, got into eye contact with her. I said, "But what I need you to do is I need you just to relax and I need you to trust me." And then I turned to the rest of the room and I said, "You need to take her out of restraints." Of course, there was the reverberage of, "Well, she did this and she did that." I said, "I don't care. She's not doing that right now. You're going to take her out of restraints right now." Um, and then we took her out of restraints. I kicked everybody out of the room. I did my doctor thing to find out what brought her in. She was in pain crisis, and here she is in 4-point restraints and pain crisis. I get that there may have been a history before. It doesn't account for what happened in that room. I actually had a nurse tell me, because I one of the things that really set me off is a security guard had his hand around her neck like this. And I had the nurse tell me, have the nerve to tell me that she was checking his pulse. He was checking her pulse, excuse me. And I'm like, that's so
Oh
wrong in so
wow.
many levels. First
Yeah.
of all, you don't check your pulse, like, right, like we all know, like a
Yeah.
lay person knows
Yeah.
you're gonna check. If she's aggressive, why are you checking a pulse? Right? Like if she's actively flailing around.
Yeah. We know
Okay,
that
so
she's alive. She's okay.
right, right, she's okay. So, I got her settled in and I walked out of the room, and I work in a pretty homogeneous environment when it comes to race and ethnicity, and I was in tears.
Yeah.
And I had nobody to talk to relieve the stress. I was in tears for her mostly. I was in tears for myself. And then I even almost found myself apologetic. And I'm like, this is so backwards. Like the imposter syndrome just flooded in of like somehow what I did was wrong, knowing what I did was right, right? But how dare you show, to your point, like how dare you show your emotions here in this place, like all
Yeah.
that stuff was rattling through my mind.
Mm.
And I had a whole shift left to do. Like I had to get on with it. I couldn't go in the corner, but I literally came out of the room and tears were streaming down my face. I was to quickly do this
Yeah,
thing and go
I
to the
know, but
nurse's
I think
station.
I
And
I I I totally I mean, like, I'm so glad that you were there, and that she had you there to help and advocate for her, and I think it's such a powerful story, um, and it goes to show the importance of diversity in healthcare.